Tonight, I want to take you to a coastline that's quiet in the dark. A harbour with soft lights. And, just inland, a city that once tried to gather the whole world into words. This is Curious Nights. And tonight's episode is called, The Lost Library of Alexandria. What knowledge might have been inside? We'll stay gentle and unhurried. We'll separate what historians can reasonably support from what we can only imagine. And we'll end in a calm place. Nothing to memorize. Just a slow walk through an old idea. The idea that knowledge can be gathered, cared for, and shared. When people say the Library of Alexandria, they often picture one perfect building. A single hall of shelves. One catastrophic fire. The calmer historical picture is more complicated. Alexandria was a real city, founded in the Hellenistic period, with scholars, administrators, merchants, and sailors. The library was likely part of a wider research community, connected to the royal court. Often, you'll hear about the Museon. Not a museum in the modern sense, but a kind of scholarly institute. A place for study, debate, and copying texts. There may also have been more than one major collection. Some accounts describe a daughter library, associated with the Serapeum. Historians still argue about what that means in practice, and how large it was. So tonight, we'll hold the idea softly. Not a single room we can map perfectly. More like an ecosystem of texts, people, and routines. A long, patient attempt to keep written knowledge close at hand. Try to imagine the practical side of it. Not the drama. The routine. Texts were not mass-produced books. They were handwritten rolls, often on papyrus. Copies had to be made by trained scribes, slowly, carefully, and repeatedly. And if you're trying to build a major collection, you need a steady inflow of material. There are stories that ships arriving in Alexandria might be searched for texts to copy. The exact policies are debated, but the broader point is clear. Alexandria was a port city. And ports are where ideas travel. Then there is the problem of finding anything once you have it. Ancient sources describe cataloging work associated with a scholar named Callimachus. His catalogue is often called the Pinax. Think of it as an organized map of what the collection held. That part is easy to miss. A great library is not only shelves. It's also an index. A set of labels. A way to connect one scroll to another, without getting lost. So what knowledge might have been inside these collections? Some of it is familiar. Some of it is a silhouette. We can be fairly confident that literary works were central. Epics, plays, poetry, commentaries, and rival editions of the same text. Not just to enjoy them, but to compare lines, argue about wording, and decide what counted as a reliable version. There were likely historical works too. Accounts of rulers and wars, travel writing, and local chronicles. Some would have been proud propaganda. Some would have been the ordinary record-keeping of an administration. And then there's translation. Alexandria was multilingual. Greek was prominent in scholarship, but the city lived alongside Egyptian traditions and other languages carried in by trade. This is one of the quiet miracles we can imagine without exaggerating. A room with lamplight. A scholar reading a text aloud. Another person shaping it into new words, in a new language, so it can travel farther. The Library of Alexandria is also linked, in people's minds, to science, mathematics, astronomy, medicine. Here, it helps to be precise. Not every scientific text in the ancient world sat in one building. But Alexandria was a strong center of scholarship, and several famous figures are associated with its intellectual life. Think of geometry being treated as a careful language. Definitions, proofs, patience. Think of astronomy as an art of attention. Night after night, recording where lights appear in the sky. Making tables. Trying to predict what comes next. And now, the gentle speculation. If you gather enough scholars, texts, instruments, and time, you also gather drafts, false starts, marginal notes, alternative explanations that did not win. Those are the kinds of writings that vanish first. And when they vanish, the past looks cleaner than it really was. So what happened? How does something like this disappear? The most soothing answer is also the most realistic. It probably wasn't a single, simple ending. Large collections can decline through repeated damage, political change, funding shifts, and slow neglect. Think of how fragile a scroll is. Heat, moisture, insects, and handling all take their share. Preservation requires constant work. And then think of the city itself. Empires change. Priorities change. Institutions reorganize. Sometimes a tradition survives, but the collection becomes scattered. There are famous stories about fires and conquests. Some are based on real events. Some may be later simplifications. For tonight, we don't need a single villain. It's enough to understand the shape of the loss. Knowledge is not only discovered, it's maintained. And maintenance is easy to interrupt. Let's gather the thread, softly. Alexandria was not just a legend. It was a real place where texts were copied, studied, organized, and debated. Some of what might have been inside was probably literature and history. Some of it was technical writing. Tables, diagrams, instructions, arguments, and careful definitions. And some of it was the most human kind of knowledge. Notes in the margin. A teacher's simplified explanation. A student's copied paragraph, with a small mistake that reveals how they were thinking. If the idea of loss feels heavy, you can set it down. This is common. Most human knowledge has always lived on the edge of disappearance. And still, it returns. In new copies. In translations. In the quiet persistence of people who keep reading. So for the last few moments, just picture that harbour again. A low lamp. Paper and ink. Someone turning a page slowly, as the city settles into night. You don't have to follow every detail. You can let the story blur at the edges. And if sleep comes, it can come naturally. Good night.